Hey guys, it's Titus here. I'm going to give you a short demo on how to add a pause menu to your Unreal Engine game. So I have this short little top-down game here, and then currently I don't have any way to actually pause the game, so I got some other stuff going on, but that's what we're going to be showing in this tutorial. We'll keep it pretty simple though. So the first thing we need to do to create a pause menu is we need a widget. Widgets are basically UI elements. So once you create kind of like the widget, you then basically control the behavior using blueprints. So we'll start by right-clicking, go into user interface, we'll do widget blueprint. We're just going to choose user widget at the top here. Call it W_ pause menu, seems appropriate. And open it up. Screen here, so let me drag it over and dock it. Alright, so most widgets are going to need a canvas panel, so you can just search for canvas. Then you just click and drag it onto your actual UI element here, whatever you named it. And then the next thing you're going to need is a text element. I use just the regular text is fine. Drag that onto the canvas panel this time, and it's going to add it up there. Now, usually I like to move the text elements around using the anchors. So set your anchors kind of like wherever you want the overlay to appear. For me, I want my pause to be kind of center, so I can go up to anchor, choose just regular center here. It'll move the element. Then I can go back into anchor, and I can actually hold control and click center. It'll move it almost center, but it's a little offset, so you can go back to anchor and this time hold shift, click on it, and it'll put it perfectly center for you. And you can see that alignment offset right there. So you can either manually type it in, or you can do that little trick there. It just kind of makes it easier. The next thing I would do is I would check your size to content to make sure the green box covers your actual text, because if you have a lot of text or you resize it, it may not center it on screen or put it wherever you have it anchored. Just as an example, say I set this to 96. You see it's kind of offset there. So check that, brings it back center. So pretty easy. I'm going to switch the typeface to light. And then let's use an appropriate text. Let's just say paused. And the Z order, you actually want to set to 1. The reason we're doing that is because we're actually going to add a blurred background, and the Z order is your depth. So if you want your text to not be blurred, you obviously want to use a higher Z order. So it's basically on top of the blur effect. I'll show you what happens if you don't do that. So we can go up here and look for blur. There's background blur. We're actually going to drag this on the canvas panel, not the text. Then we can go into here, set a strength of 5. You're not going to see it because it's kind of in the top left corner. So you got to go to anchors. This time we're going to set full screen. Still not going to see it. That's because your offset kind of gets weird. So set your offset right and offset bottom to 0. And then you're going to see it covers that whole canvas panel perfectly. But the pause menu you can see is kind of blurred out, which we don't want. So we'll go back to the text, change our Z order to 1, and now you can see it's in front. So it looks a lot better. So we compile and save. And yeah, this is a very basic pause menu. So it just blurs everything in the background. It's just going to say paused. Just simple enough for this tutorial. Now we need a way to execute it in code, and we're going to be doing that using Blueprint. So let's go back to our third-person map. You just click on your level editor, open level blueprint here. I already got mine open. And now we can actually begin to add some code. So let's right-click and do begin play. Probably a more common node that you're going to be using. You can drag off that node and make a call to create widget. The widget we want to create is going to be our pause menu, W_ pause menu. And then our return value is actually going to be, the way we're going to do it is we're going to be using a flip-flop. So we're going to use a keyboard event called into what's called a flip-flop. where it's basically when you press it once, it's going to do one action. When you press it again, it's going to do a separate action, and it's just going to toggle or flip between those two actions. In order to do that effectively, we're going to need to put this into a variable or promote it to a variable. So we'll do promote to variable. We got to give it a title, call it whatever. I'll just use pause widget. Number 2, forgot I already have one. All right, so pause widget number 2. Now we can create our custom event. So I think it would be keyboard. Let's do P. So keyboard P for a custom event. You can notice it's red. We'll make a call over to our flip-flop. And then what we need is add to viewport. Now you're probably not going to see it. You might maybe if you drag it off. Add to view. No, you won't. If you uncheck context sensitive, you'll see it comes up. So sometimes you have to uncheck that to see it. So add to viewport. And the other thing we're going to need is remove from parent. Basically what this does is we need a way to pull off the pause menu, so this will actually pull it off the screen. And that'll be our action B. So this one adds it to our screen, this one will remove it from the screen. In order to actually get a valid target, we're going to drag in pause widget 2, do a get, and then we can just simply drag off here, connect this node, drag off here, connect this node, and we're looking pretty good so far. All right. Now this, for the most part, will work, but well, I guess we can just compile it and see. Let's actually see what it does. There's going to be an issue with it, though. Actually, several issues. One, you know, I'm still being attacked. It's not actually pausing the game, but you can put it on and off the screen, but it doesn't really accomplish kind of what you're hoping for. All right, so which makes sense, right? Because the code, you're calling it, you're setting the widget, you're creating the widget on the screen, you're setting it to a variable, and then you're only calling it when your event's called, and you're toggling between putting it on and taking it off. To actually freeze the game, that's actually a built-in function that you can do. It's a set game paused, like that. And then we can actually just do that again, set game paused, or you can duplicate the node either way. Connect one up here, one up there. The one that's true would be up here, and the one that's false would be down here. And that is a very basic pause screen, but there is one problem with it. If we are to run this, you will likely get stuck or frozen in your game. Because when you set the game paused, this function will be in a pause state, so it won't be operable. So what you have to do is actually click on your actual custom event, your keyboard input, and you have to enable the function execute when paused. That'll make it so you can unpause it once it's paused, so it's not basically frozen. And then it's pretty simple, so let's give that a go and see if that does anything different. I can move around, pause. You can see I can't move, can't fire, but I can unpause it and continue through. Pretty straightforward. So yeah, that's working. Well, short and simple, but hope this helps you out. It's not too bad. And then obviously you can make it as advanced or as custom as you want it, but it's a good starting point. I hope you enjoyed this video.